The requirement is 6 inches from storage space. The 2017 National Electrical Code, or NEC, requires that any lighting fixture installed over a stove, cooktop, or other cooking surface must be listed for such use and have a minimum 6-inch clearance from any combustible material above the surface of the cooking appliance. The type of bulb installed in a lighting fixture is not relevant to the clearance requirement. The clearance requirement is based on the potential for the lighting fixture to become hot during operation and ignite any combustible materials that may be located above the cooking surface. Therefore, even if an incandescent fixture is installed with a compact fluorescent bulb, the minimum clearance requirement of 6 inches from any combustible material above the surface of the cooking appliance must still be met. It is important to adhere to the National Electrical Code regulations to ensure safety and prevent fire hazards. When installing lighting fixtures near cooking surfaces, always prioritize safety by maintaining the required clearance from combustible materials, regardless of the type of bulb used. Firstly, let's delve into the specifics of the National Electrical Code and its implications for lighting fixture installations. The NEC serves as a comprehensive set of guidelines for electrical installations, aiming to safeguard people and property from electrical hazards. It outlines requirements for various aspects of electrical systems, including wiring, equipment, and installations, ensuring compliance with safety standards. Secondly, regarding the installation of lighting fixtures above cooking surfaces, the NEC mandates specific requirements to mitigate the risk of fire. These requirements are primarily concerned with maintaining adequate clearance between the lighting fixture and any combustible materials present in the vicinity. This clearance serves to prevent the ignition of these materials due to the heat generated by the fixture during operation. Thirdly, the NEC stipulates that any lighting fixture installed above a stove, cooktop, or other cooking surface must be listed for such use. This listing ensures that the fixture has been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory to meet safety standards for its intended application. The listing process involves rigorous evaluation of the fixture's design, construction, and performance to verify its compliance with relevant safety requirements. Fourthly, one of the key provisions of the NEC pertaining to lighting fixtures above cooking surfaces is the requirement for a minimum 6-inch clearance from any combustible material. This clearance zone is intended to provide a buffer between the fixture and any flammable materials such as cabinets, shelves, or paper products that may be present in the area. By maintaining this clearance, the risk of ignition due to heat transfer from the fixture to the combustible materials is significantly reduced. Fifthly, it is important to note that the clearance requirement specified by the NEC applies regardless of the type of bulb installed in a lighting fixture. Whether the fixture is equipped with an incandescent bulb, a compact fluorescent lamp or CFL, or a light-emitting diode or LED, the minimum 6-inch clearance must still be maintained. This is because the clearance requirement is based on the potential for the fixture itself to generate heat and ignite nearby combustible materials, irrespective of the bulb type. Sixthly, the reasoning behind the NEC clearance requirement is rooted in the understanding that lighting fixtures can become hot during operation. Incandescent bulbs, in particular, are known for producing significant amounts of heat as a byproduct of their light emission process. Even CFL and LED, which are generally more energy efficient and produce less heat than incandescent bulbs, can still generate enough heat to pose a fire hazard if they are in close proximity to combustible materials. Seventhly, the potential for a lighting fixture to ignite combustible materials depends on several factors, including the fixture's design, wattage, and ventilation. Fixtures that are enclosed or poorly ventilated may trap heat, leading to higher temperatures and an increased risk of ignition. Similarly, fixtures that are equipped with high wattage bulbs may generate more heat than those with low wattage bulbs. Eighthly, to ensure compliance with the NEC clearance requirements, it is essential to carefully consider the placement of lighting fixtures relative to any combustible materials in the area. When installing a fixture above a cooking surface, ensure that there is at least a 6-inch gap between the fixture and any overhead cabinets, shelves, or other flammable objects. If necessary, use heat shields or other protective measures to further reduce the risk of ignition. Ninthly, it is also important to be mindful of the types of materials that are considered combustible under the NEC. Combustible materials include not only obvious items such as wood, paper, and fabric, but also certain plastics and other synthetic materials that may ignite at relatively low temperatures. When assessing the clearance requirements for a lighting fixture, be sure to consider all potential combustible materials in the vicinity, including those that may not be immediately apparent. Tenthly, in addition to the clearance requirements, the NEC also addresses other aspects of lighting fixture installations above cooking surfaces. For example, the code may specify requirements for the type of wiring and connections used to supply power to the fixture, as well as the grounding and bonding of the fixture to ensure electrical safety. 11thly, it is crucial for electrical contractors and installers to be thoroughly familiar with the NEC and its requirements for lighting fixture installations. Failure to comply with the code can result in serious consequences, including fire hazards, property damage, and potential liability. Therefore, it is essential to stay up to date on the latest version of the NEC and to adhere to its provisions when installing lighting fixtures in any location. 12thly, the NEC is not a static document. It is regularly reviewed and updated to reflect changes in technology, industry practices, and safety standards. The National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, which publishes the NEC, convenes a committee of experts every 3 years to consider proposed revisions and updates to the code. 13thly, these revisions and updates are based on input from a wide range of stakeholders, including electrical contractors, engineers, manufacturers, and regulatory agencies. The goal of the revision process is to ensure that the NEC remains relevant, effective, and responsive to the evolving needs of the electrical industry. 14thly, in summary, the NEC requires a minimum 6-inch clearance between lighting fixtures installed above cooking surfaces and any combustible materials. This clearance requirement applies regardless of the type of bulb installed in the fixture and is intended to prevent the ignition of combustible materials due to heat generated by the fixture during operation. 15thly, compliance with the NEC clearance requirements is essential for ensuring safety and preventing fire hazards in residential and commercial buildings. Electrical contractors and installers should be thoroughly familiar with the NEC and its provisions for lighting fixture installations to ensure that all installations are performed in accordance with the code. 16thly, the NEC isn't the only standard that addresses lighting fixtures. Other standards, such as those published by Underwriters Laboratories or UL, also provide requirements for the design, construction, and performance of lighting fixtures. These standards may cover aspects such as electrical safety, mechanical strength, and resistance to environmental factors. 17thly, UL standards are often referenced by the NEC and other building codes and are used by manufacturers to ensure that their products meet certain safety and performance requirements. Compliance with UL standards is typically demonstrated through product listing or certification, which indicates that the product has been tested and evaluated by UL and found to meet the applicable requirements. 18thly, when selecting lighting fixtures for installation, it is important to choose products that are listed or certified by a recognized testing laboratory such as UL. This ensures that the fixtures have been evaluated for safety and performance and that they meet the applicable standards. 19thly, in addition to complying with the NEC and other applicable standards, it is also important to follow manufacturer's instructions when installing lighting fixtures. The manufacturer's instructions provide specific guidance on how to install the fixture properly and safely, including information on wiring, mounting, and grounding. 20thly, failure to follow manufacturer's instructions can lead to improper installation, which can compromise the safety and performance of the fixture. Therefore, it is essential to read and understand the manufacturer's instructions before beginning any installation work. 21stly, when installing lighting fixtures above cooking surfaces, it is also important to consider the specific requirements of the local building code. Local building codes may impose additional requirements or restrictions on lighting fixture installations beyond those specified in the NEC. 22ndly, for example, some local codes may require the use of specific types of fixtures or wiring methods in certain areas, or they may impose more stringent clearance requirements than those specified in the NEC. It is essential to check with the local building department to determine the specific requirements that apply in a given jurisdiction. 23rd, in addition to the technical requirements for lighting fixture installations, it is also important to consider the aesthetic aspects of the installation. Lighting fixtures can play an important role in the overall design and appearance of a space, and it is important to choose fixtures that are both functional and visually appealing. 24th, when selecting lighting fixtures for a particular application, consider factors such as the style of the room, the color scheme, and the desired level of illumination. Choose fixtures that complement the overall design and create the desired ambience. 25th, it is also important to consider the energy efficiency of lighting fixtures when making a selection. Energy-efficient fixtures can save money on electricity bills and reduce the environmental impact of lighting. Choose fixtures that are equipped with energy-efficient bulbs such as LED or CFL, and look for fixtures that are Energy Star certified. 26th, Energy Star certified fixtures meet strict energy efficiency guidelines set by the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, and are guaranteed to save energy and money. 27th, in conclusion, installing lighting fixtures above cooking surfaces requires careful attention to safety, compliance with codes and standards, and aesthetic considerations. By following the guidelines outlined in the NEC, UL standards, manufacturer's instructions, and local building codes, you can ensure that your lighting fixture installations are safe, reliable, and visually appealing. 28th, it is always recommended to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical contractor when planning and executing lighting fixture installations. A qualified professional can provide expert advice and guidance on selecting the appropriate fixtures, complying with all applicable codes and standards, and ensuring that the installation is performed safely and correctly. 29th, the NEC Section 310.15 B3 addresses adjustment factors for more than 3 current carrying conductors in a raceway or cable. It requires that the allowable ampacity of conductors be reduced when the number of current carrying conductors in a raceway or cable exceeds 3. This is because the heat generated by the conductors can cause the insulation to degrade, which can lead to a short circuit or fire. 30th, the adjustment factors are based on the number of current carrying conductors in the raceway or cable. For example, if there are 4 to 6 current carrying conductors, the allowable ampacity must be reduced by 80%. If there are 7 to 9 current carrying conductors, the allowable ampacity must be reduced by 70%. 31st, the adjustment factors only apply to current carrying conductors. Grounding conductors and equipment grounding conductors are not considered current carrying conductors and do not need to be included when determining the number of current carrying conductors in a raceway or cable. 32nd, the NEC also provides exceptions to the adjustment factor requirements. For example, the adjustment factors do not apply to conductors that are installed in free air. This is because the heat generated by the conductors can dissipate more easily when they are installed in free air. 33rd, in addition to the adjustment factors for more than 3 current carrying conductors, the NEC also includes requirements for the minimum size of conductors. The minimum size of conductors is based on the ampacity of the circuit and the type of insulation used on the conductors. 34th, the NEC also includes requirements for the overcurrent protection of conductors. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to protect conductors from overloads and short circuits. The size of the overcurrent protection device must be matched to the ampacity of the conductor. 35th, the NEC also includes requirements for the grounding of electrical systems. Grounding is the process of connecting the electrical system to the earth. Grounding helps to protect people from electric shock and to prevent damage to equipment. 36th, the NEC also includes requirements for the bonding of electrical systems. Bonding is the process of connecting all of the metal parts of the electrical system together. Bonding helps to ensure that all of the metal parts of the system are at the same voltage potential, which can help to prevent electric shock. 37th, the NEC is a complex and comprehensive document. It is essential for electrical contractors and installers to be thoroughly familiar with the NEC and its requirements in order to ensure that electrical systems are installed safely and correctly. 38thly, the NEC is updated every 3 years. It is important to stay up to date on the latest version of the NEC in order to ensure that you are following the most current safety standards. 39thly, in addition to the NEC, there are also other codes and standards that may apply to electrical installations. For example, the National Fire Alarm and Signaling Code, or NFPA 72, provides requirements for the installation of fire alarm systems. 40thly, it is important to be familiar with all of the codes and standards that apply to your work in order to ensure that you are installing electrical systems safely and correctly. 41stly, here are some additional tips for installing lighting fixtures above cooking surfaces. 42ndly, ensure that the fixture is listed for use above cooking surfaces. 43rdly, maintain a minimum 6-inch clearance from any combustible materials. 44thly, follow the manufacturer's instructions. 45thly, check the local building code. 46thly, consult with a qualified electrician or electrical contractor.